Water can be your crop's greatest ally, or the silent expense that is draining your profits without you even realizing it. In agriculture, talking about irrigation is not simply about opening a valve, turning on a pump, or letting water flow through the furrows. Talking about irrigation means talking about life, production, quality, savings, healthy roots, strong plants, and decisions that can make the difference between a uniform and profitable harvest, or a stressed crop that never reaches its true potential. Many farmers have seen it firsthand: a field with good seed, good fertilizer, and proper soil preparation, but poorly managed irrigation ends up producing less than expected. On the other hand, there are growers who may not have the most expensive technology, but they understand when, how much, and how to irrigate, achieving more uniform, vigorous crops with better yields. Because water does more than simply wet the soil. Water transports nutrients, regulates plant temperature, helps roots function properly, allows fertilizer to be absorbed efficiently, and keeps the entire soil system alive. Without enough water, the plant slows down. With too much water, the roots suffocate. And when irrigation is irregular, the crop becomes confused. One day it suffers drought stress. The next day it becomes waterlogged, making stable development impossible. That is why irrigation systems are among the most important tools in modern agriculture. It does not matter whether we are talking about vegetables, fruit trees, grains, forage crops, sugarcane, chili peppers, tomatoes, corn, avocados, pecans, or any other crop. All of them need water, but not all require it in the same way, in the same quantity, or at the same time. An irrigation system, in simple terms, is the organized way in which water is delivered from a source to the crop. That source may be a well, reservoir, canal, river, storage tank, pond, or distribution network. But what truly matters is not simply having water available, but being able to apply it efficiently, uniformly, and at the right moment. And this is where many producers face a key question: which irrigation system is best for me? The answer is not always the same because it depends on the crop, soil type, climate, water availability, budget, land topography, and the management level of the farm. One of the oldest systems, still widely used today, is surface irrigation. In this system, water is distributed across the field using gravity. It may be applied through furrows, borders, flooding, or channels. It is common in large-scale crops and in areas with water availability and relatively level land. Furrow irrigation, for example, is widely used in row crops. Water flows between the furrows and gradually infiltrates toward the root zone. When managed properly, it can work quite well, but it requires leveling, flow control, and good scheduling. If the land is uneven, some areas receive too much water while others remain dry. And when that happens, the crop reflects it. Larger plants in one area, weaker plants in another, disease problems in waterlogged spots, and poor fertilizer efficiency. Flood irrigation is also familiar to many farmers. Water is allowed to enter a section of land and cover the surface for a certain period. It is simple, yes, but it can also be inefficient if not carefully controlled. In heavy soils, excess moisture can cause oxygen deficiency in the roots. In sandy soils, water may quickly move into deeper layers, carrying nutrients away and increasing costs. There is something very important to understand here. Just because a system is traditional does not mean it is bad. A well-designed and well-managed surface irrigation system can be effective. The problem arises when irrigation is done by eye, without measuring time, understanding the soil, or observing how the plants respond. In agriculture, losses often come not from using a simple system, but from managing it without control. Another well-known system is sprinkler irrigation. In this case, water is applied in a way that simulates rainfall. Pipes, sprinklers, pressure, and distribution systems are used to cover the crop from above. This method can be useful for pastures, forage crops, vegetables, grains, and many other crops, especially when a more uniform application than gravity irrigation is desired. Sprinkler irrigation has clear advantages. It can adapt to sloped terrain, irrigate large areas, and distribute water more evenly when properly designed. However, there are also important factors to consider. If there is too much wind, the water does not land where it should. If pressure is inadequate, some sprinklers apply too much water, while others apply too little. And if irrigation is done during the hottest hours of the day, part of the water is lost through evaporation. In addition, in some crops, constantly wetting the leaves can encourage diseases, especially when humidity is high or ventilation is poor. That is why irrigation timing, duration, and frequency must be carefully planned. Irrigating at midday under strong sun and wind is not the same as irrigating early in the morning or at sunset. There is also microsprinkler irrigation, which operates with lower flow rates and is commonly used in fruit orchards, nurseries, and crops, where only a specific area around the plant needs to be moistened. It is an interesting alternative when the goal is to maintain moisture near the root zone while reducing losses compared to more open systems. But when we talk about efficiency, one of the most important systems in modern agriculture is drip irrigation. This system delivers water directly near the roots, drop by drop, through drip tape, hoses, or emitters. Its greatest advantage is the ability to save water, improve uniformity, and combine irrigation with fertilization, what we know as fertigation. Drip irrigation has transformed agricultural production in many regions of Mexico and Latin America. In areas where water is limited, this system allows every liter to be used more efficiently. In high-value crops such as tomatoes, chili peppers, cucumbers, berries, melons, watermelons, avocados, pecans, and many others, it can be a key tool for improving productivity and quality. But it must be said clearly, drip irrigation is not magic. Installing drip tape alone does not solve everything. A drip system requires filtration, proper pressure, cleaning, maintenance, and scheduling. If emitters become clogged, plants do not receive water. If pressure changes, some lines irrigate more than others. If fertilizer is applied without control, salts may accumulate. And if irrigation is too shallow or too frequent, roots may remain superficial or suffer stress. The producer using drip irrigation must learn to read the system. Filters need to be checked, soil moisture observed, pressures measured, leaks detected, lines cleaned when necessary, and irrigation schedules adjusted according to crop stage. A small plant does not consume the same amount of water as a fully productive one. A cloudy day does not create the same demand as a hot, dry, windy day. This leads to a fundamental point. There is no fixed irrigation schedule that works for everyone. Saying irrigate every 3 days or run the system for 1 hour daily can be dangerous if real conditions are ignored. Irrigation must respond to the soil, the climate, and the crop. Sandy soils hold little water and require more frequent irrigation. Clay soils retain more water but can become waterlogged if over-irrigated. A crop during flowering or fruit filling can be much more sensitive to water stress than during early growth stages. Root depth also matters. If irrigation is too shallow, roots stay near the surface, becoming dependent on frequent watering and more vulnerable to heat. Proper moisture management encourages deeper, more active roots and stronger plants. But excessive irrigation removes oxygen from the soil, weakens roots, and opens the door to fungal diseases, root rot, and nutrient loss. A good irrigation system is not measured only by how much water it applies, but by how uniformly it applies it. Uniformity is essential. If one part of the field receives twice as much water as another, the crop will never be consistent. And when the crop is uneven, fertilization, pest control, harvesting, and marketing become more complicated as well. Irrigation uniformity is one of those factors that may not be obvious from a distance but becomes very noticeable at the end of the season. Cost must also be considered. Many farmers wonder whether investing in a more advanced irrigation system is worthwhile. The answer depends on the numbers. A system may seem expensive initially, but if it saves water, reduces labor, improves yields, allows precise fertilizer application, and produces higher quality crops, it can pay for itself over time. However, installing technology without proper training can also become a heavy expense. That is why, before choosing an irrigation system, the field must be carefully analyzed. What crop will be grown? How much water is available? What is the water quality? Is the soil sandy, loamy, or clayey? Is the land level or sloped? Is electricity available, or will fuel be needed? Can the system be properly maintained? Will fertilizers be applied through irrigation? What yield is expected? Water quality also matters greatly. Some water sources contain salts, carbonates, sediments, or elements that can clog emitters and damage the soil. In drip irrigation, filtration is essential. It is not a luxury. Neglecting filters can reduce the efficiency of the entire system. And when emitters clog, the problem is often detected too late, after plants have already wilted or production losses have occurred. Another key factor is irrigation scheduling. Farmers must stop thinking only in terms of irrigate when it looks dry and begin making more precise decisions. Observing the soil with a shovel, checking moisture at different depths, using tensiometers, sensors, climate data, or simply keeping organized records can make a huge difference. What is not measured is guessed, and in irrigation, guessing can be expensive. Climate strongly influences irrigation needs. On hot, dry, windy days, plants lose more water through transpiration. On cloudy or cool days, consumption decreases. Water demand changes during vegetative growth, flowering, fruit development, and grain filling. Good irrigation management is dynamic. It adjusts, corrects, and observes. It should not be managed the same way throughout the entire season. And beware of a very common mistake, thinking that more water always means more production. It does not. Excess irrigation can be just as harmful as drought. Too much water reduces oxygen around the roots, washes away nutrients, increases disease pressure, compacts the soil, and may cause yellowing plants. Sometimes a farmer sees a weak-looking plant and assumes it needs more water, when in reality it is suffering from overwatering. The opposite also happens. Some producers, trying to save water, apply less than necessary and expose the crop to stress. That stress can reduce flowering, cause flower abortion, produce small or deformed fruits, lower grain filling, reduce weight, and decrease yield. In commercial crops, water stress at the wrong moment can be extremely costly. Irrigation is also closely linked to fertilization. Plants cannot properly absorb nutrients without adequate moisture. Fertilizer must dissolve, move through the soil, and reach the roots. If water is lacking, the fertilizer may be present but unavailable to the plant. If there is too much water, nutrients may leach away. That is why irrigation and nutrition must be managed together, not separately. In fertigation systems, this relationship becomes even more important. Applying nutrients through irrigation allows doses to be divided, improves efficiency, and feeds the plant according to its growth stage. But if irrigation is poorly calculated, fertilizer distribution will also be uneven. Where more water reaches, more nutrients reach. Where less water reaches, the plant remains deficient. Before showing off a fertilization program, it is important to verify that the irrigation system is actually working uniformly. In many agricultural regions, water is becoming increasingly limited. Deeper wells, higher energy costs, more irregular seasons, frequent droughts, and pressure on water resources force producers to become more efficient. It is no longer enough to irrigate simply because that is how it has always been done. Water must be treated as a strategic resource. A producer who saves water without reducing yields gains twice. Costs decrease while the ability to continue producing is protected. But saving water does not mean depriving the crop of what it needs. It means applying water more effectively. It means preventing leaks, improving leveling, using proper irrigation timing, maintaining equipment, scheduling irrigations correctly, understanding the soil, and choosing the right system. Labor must also be considered. Some systems require more manual work than others. Gravity irrigation may require workers to open and close gates, move water, inspect furrows, and control flow. Sprinkler systems may require moving pipes or equipment depending on the design. Drip irrigation can reduce labor during application, but demands technical maintenance. Every system has its own requirements. On smaller farms, simple improvements can often be made without huge investments. Better leveling, dividing irrigation zones, controlling irrigation duration, repairing leaks, cleaning canals, preventing losses, and monitoring moisture can greatly improve water efficiency. On more advanced farms, sensors, automation, valves, meters, and fertigation systems can take management to another level. But the foundation is always the same: understanding the crop. Plants do not speak, but they show signs. Wilted leaves, yellowing, slow growth, poor roots, small fruits, cracking, flower abortion, root diseases, and uneven growth can all be related to irrigation. Farmers who learn to interpret these signals make better decisions. It is also important to inspect the soil after irrigating. Seeing the surface wet is not enough. Sometimes the surface looks moist while deeper layers are dry. Other times the surface seems dry, but the root zone still contains enough moisture. That is why a shovel can be one of a farmer's most valuable tools. Digging into the soil, touching it, observing it, and even smelling it provides information no assumption can replace. In crops with plastic mulch, for example, moisture can be harder to observe, making monitoring even more important. In drip irrigation, the wet bulb must match the area where the roots are located. If the wet bulb is too small, the plant becomes limited. If water moves too deeply, it is wasted. If it remains too shallow, roots fail to develop properly. Topography also plays a role. On sloped land, water naturally moves toward lower areas. In gravity irrigation, this can create waterlogging at the bottom and drought stress at the top. In drip irrigation, pressure may vary according to elevation. That is why hydraulic design matters. It is not just about buying hoses, sprinklers, or drip tape. It is about designing a system that delivers the correct flow in every zone. Maintenance is another aspect that is often ignored until problems appear. Dirty filters, leaks, clogged emitters, worn sprinklers, poorly functioning pumps, damaged valves, or sediment-filled pipes reduce efficiency. Irrigation systems must be inspected regularly. Just as machinery is checked before work begins, the system delivering water to the crop should also be inspected. And something very important: irrigation should be planned before planting, not after the crop is already suffering. Before establishment, it is worth considering where the water source will be, how irrigation zones will be divided, what pressure is required, what flow rate is available, how the water will be filtered, how fertilizer will be applied, and how drainage will be managed. Good design from the beginning prevents many future problems. Drainage also deserves attention. Irrigating properly is not only about supplying water, but also allowing excess water to leave when necessary. In heavy soils or regions with intense rainfall, poor drainage can damage roots and encourage disease. Standing water is the enemy of many crops. That is why channels, slopes, raised beds, and soil management practices can complement the irrigation system. Profitable agriculture does not depend on a single practice, but on the sum of many correct decisions. Irrigation is one of the most important because it affects everything else. It affects nutrition, plant health, growth, flowering, quality, yield, and production costs. An irrigation mistake can reduce the efficiency of the entire production system. That is why, when a farmer asks how to improve a crop, one of the first things to evaluate should be water management. Am I irrigating too much? Too little? Is the water distributed evenly? Does the system have leaks? Am I irrigating at the best time of day? Am I considering soil type? Am I adjusting irrigation according to crop stage? Am I measuring anything or simply following routine? Farmer experience is extremely valuable, but when that experience is combined with measurement and observation, it becomes even more powerful. It is not about abandoning what has been learned in the field. It is about improving it. Traditional knowledge and technology can work together. Producers who know their land and also use tools to make better decisions have a tremendous advantage. In Mexico and Latin America, where some regions have abundant water and others face constant drought, choosing and properly managing irrigation systems will become increasingly important. Food demand continues to rise, costs increase, and climate conditions become more irregular. In that scenario, efficient water management may determine whether a producer remains profitable or becomes limited by waste and inefficiency. Every drop matters, not as a cliché, but as a reality in the field. Every drop lost through runoff, evaporation, leaks, or poor application is money lost. Every drop that correctly reaches the root zone at the right moment helps build yield. That is why the best irrigation system is not always the most expensive, the most modern, or the trendiest. The best system is the one that fits your crop, your soil, your water supply, your budget, and your management capacity. A simple system that is well managed can outperform an advanced system that is poorly maintained. And a modern system, properly designed and maintained, can raise production to much higher levels. The key is to take irrigation seriously, not as just another task, but as a central agronomic decision. Irrigation is not simply applying water. Irrigation means feeding the plant's potential. It means protecting the roots. It means safeguarding the investment. It means preparing the way for a healthier, more uniform, and more profitable harvest. So the next time you stand in your field and watch the water flow, ask yourself, is this water reaching where it needs to go? Is it helping the crop or being wasted? Am I irrigating according to the plant's needs or simply out of habit? Is my system working for me, or am I losing money without realizing it? Because in agriculture, the difference is often not about working harder, but about working smarter. And when it comes to irrigation, working smarter means applying the right amount of water, at the right time, in the right way. A well-irrigated crop does not just look better, it defends itself better, absorbs nutrients more efficiently, grows more uniformly, and produces with greater stability. And in the end, that is reflected where it matters most, in the harvest and in the producer's profit. Water is life for the crop, but efficiency is life for the agricultural business. Those who learn to manage their irrigation systems intelligently are not only protecting their plants, they are protecting their future in agriculture.